Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sona, this is Middle Eastern, and for the topic of today we are going to be talking about horrible bosses in Qatar and how you can go about the situation. Guys, to just get it out there, if you look at the demographics of this country, you will notice that the indigenous population, the Qatari themselves, make up just about 20% of the total population of this country. That is to tell you that this country is largely populated by migrants. You understand? So we have people from all over the world in this country. We have people from Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Korea. You know, all of those people from Southeast Asia are present here in this country. We have people from the Philippines, Indonesia, North Africa like Algeria, Morocco, and of course from Sub-Saharan Africa to all my brothers from Kenya, Cameroon, Uganda. You know, all of us are here in this country living together and working together here in this country. So that usually creates the dynamics of you having to work with or associate with people in the workplace, people who maybe you have never come in contact with them before in your whole life. You know, maybe you don't speak the same language, you don't have the same culture, you don't have the same ideology and background. So just on that basis, people tend to face a lot of intra-colleague conflicts here in Qatar. You know, I've heard stories where people tend to sometimes fight with their colleagues at the work side because of one or two misunderstandings. You know, that is normally expected, but I'm just trying to labor the point that that is a little bit heightened in this country because, you know, every industry is usually multicultural. You know, they usually hire people from diverse communities, diverse backgrounds. So it's always a very high chance that you come into contact with people who you don't really get along with. Not because they are bad or you are bad, but, you know, just that because you're from different parts of the world, you see things differently. Leaving that aside, we'll be talking today specifically on how to handle these people when they are your superiors. What do I mean by that? Maybe you're from Africa or you're from Asia and you have a boss or a manager or supervisor who is from another part of the world and you don't seem to get along. You know, they are always on your case, you know, like just giving you a hard time at work. Your performance doesn't ever seem to be good enough for them. It's like every day at work seems like a constant battle to try to prove yourself and both keep your sanity intact. You know, there's so many people. If you are going through this, then I really sympathize with you because I've been in that same position and I could definitely understand exactly what you're going through. You know, like you feel like every day you are pushed to resign from the work because you don't get that fulfillment from actually doing the job again. You know, when you first signed up with the contract and everything, you were so excited, especially for those of us who, you know, spend some time before having the job. You know, that excitement of finally getting the job, you know, finally leaving the house every day to go do something, then you only be greeted by, you know, a workplace which is maybe toxic, or a manager who is toxic, or a boss who is, you know, always trying to tease you, you know, like push your buttons and everything. So guys, it's really a tough situation to be in, and unfortunately many of us here in this country find ourselves in that situation. So yeah, we are going to be looking at the core of the problem and also some tips on how to handle the situation. Okay, so guys, for the core of the problem, it's usually not personal. Believe me when I say, yes, there can be some exceptions. There are some situations where, you know, somebody just doesn't like you, or a manager or a supervisor was hoping to get someone from maybe his own nationality or someone who he has in mind to fill that position, and maybe someone in the higher ups, maybe like the owner of the place or whatever, decided to instead take you for that position. So, you know, it will always put you in a position where the manager will like try everything to get you fired from that company or from that industry. You know, there are many people who find themselves currently in that particular position where it feels like the manager or the boss is actively trying to get them to resign or to leave the company. So but in most cases, the reality of it is that it's actually not personal. You know, these guys, maybe your manager, your supervisor, or the assistant manager, usually still has someone ahead of them on the corporate ladder who in most cases is also putting them, you know, this sort of pressure for the company to deliver, or, you know, for sales to be increased, or, you know, just like they also go through a lot. I'm not saying that it's a valid excuse to treat your employees bad, or to, you know, just be unprofessional in the workplace, but I'm saying that usually when it's the behavior is exaggerated like that, is because they too are under pressure for maybe the owner of the company or another manager or something, for the employees to deliver, you know. So what tends to happen is that they find themselves in that position where they have to vent out their anger or vent out their frustration on the subordinates, you know. That's why if you are under them, you constantly have this nagging, teasing, you know, just like they always try to push your buttons, go after you, come after you, like all of that stuff. Sometimes it's not personal, it's from a place of frustration with them having to deal with their own superiors too. So guys, we'll start by discussing what you should not do if you happen to find yourself in such an ugly situation. You know, some people have it so bad that, you know, they are like pushed to the absolute limits. Sometimes they feel like, you know, raging out or get into a fight, or I'll just put it plainly, throwing punches at the manager or the supervisor, and I'll tell you that that is the last thing you want to be doing, especially in this country, because usually the labor laws or the laws in this country are not tolerant of such a behavior. You know, that could really get you into serious trouble, no matter the situation. You know, even if you have evidence that you were being pushed to the wall, you might still find yourself having to deal with a very strong legal case against you that will either get you jailed or deported back to your country. So guys, it's definitely not worth it, especially if at least you are in a high-paying job. You know, the compensation is a little bit reasonable. You can, you know, try to stomach it, and you just try some things to work your way around it. But throwing punches or, you know, getting physical with the superior is definitely not the way to go, guys. Now, having said that, what is the way to go? Like, what to do? Because I know some of you in the comment section could be like, you've done everything, it doesn't seem to be working out. Guys, the number one thing which I can generally advise, you know, everyone will have the situation different, but I think the general solution to this is primarily to first be very competent in your work. You know, no matter the industry you're finding, even if you're a safety manager or you're a waiter or you're a health personnel, you know, whatever position where you have superiors above you, you have to make sure that you are as competent as possible in that position, you know, because this will not only reduce the amount of issues which you face in the workplace, but, you know, it's going to take the eye or the focus off you, because they'll be like, well, this guy is always doing his job well, this person is always getting things done on time. So, you know, if the manager at that time still decides to constantly pick on you or make things difficult for you, it's going to put him in a very awkward position, because it'll be clear to see for all the other employees and maybe some of the other superiors in the company that, no, this specific person is very competent at the job, they're diligent, they come on time, they do the job very well. So why is this manager constantly picking on him or her? You know, that one is going to put the focus now on the manager, because it's going to highlight that maybe the manager might have a personal something against you, you know, which you that time can have a ground to lay a formal complaint against the manager to maybe the owner of the company or the boss or whatever. because it will be clear that time that, okay, you are doing the job well, you are competent in your job, but you still have such a treatment from the manager. Now guys, for the second point which I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to tell you that you have to, if I can put it in plain terms, just try to stomach everything and be easy to work with. Yes, I get it. I'm not saying that you should tolerate anything from everyone. Obviously, as a human being, you have to have your boundaries. You don't have to tolerate everything which comes at you because you are working to get paid or something. But also, you have to understand that you are dealing with a working environment here where perhaps huge sums of money have been invested, especially in some specific industries like the restaurant business and everything. That's a situation where the owner might have invested lots of money and maybe from loans or something. So they're actively under pressure for the business to deliver, for the business to grow. So that might make them to be, more antagonistic than normal. They'll be awfully aggressive too, because that pressure is on them to make that business to grow. So having that in mind, guys, you have to try as possible to be easy to work with. Yes, like I said before, don't tolerate everything, but don't also be the guy whose toes are always outside and very easy to get stepped on. You complain about every little thing. I'm not being treated this way, this one shouted at me, this one didn't speak to me with respect. Guys, you have to try your possible best to at least tolerate some of these things, because it's normal, guys. Not only in this country, everywhere in the world, you find out that situation where it's like it's not a bed of roses. That's why it's a job. Yes, no one primarily may like to work under that kind of circumstance where they are being, insulted or receive small jibes from the manager or whatever. But have it in mind that it's a job which you are being actively compensated for. So you have to at least increase your tolerance towards some certain issues, because the issues must arise, guys. In most cases, it's unavoidable. No matter what you do, no matter how you try to stay off the way of people, you must have these issues. So guys, for the last thing which I'm going to be talking about here, you have to have in mind why you are here, guys. Every day when you are at that job, you have to have a clear mental picture of why you are here in the first place. Especially from my brothers from sub-Saharan Africa, from Kenya, from Uganda, Cameroon, Nigeria, all of that. Guys, we left home to come to this place for one thing and one thing alone, which is to work. Yes, I know some people are here to just soak it all in, have fun, but for the majority of us watching this video now, we are here to work. So having that in mind, there are some things which will normally be expected, guys. It is not easy. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy for you to leave your country and come to a strange country where majority of the time the people don't speak the same language as you. So just have it in mind that I'm here to work. I'm here to grow my finances, grow a career or something. So whatever comes your way, that mentality should be like a shield for you guys, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to that, why you are here, guys. Nobody really choose to leave their country. Some of us left our countries in situations where it was not that bad, but at least it was not as it was not as benefiting for us. That's why we are here. We largely came here to seek for some sort of greener pasture, guys. Your focus should be performing well on the job, saving up your finances, investing. Those are the things which should motivate you to keep fighting, keep pushing on, guys. Because if you stay and focus only on the ill treatment from the company or from the boss or whoever, it's really going to drag you to a place of depression, you know, where you have absolutely no satisfaction. You know, I've had people who come here and within a year or two, they decide to go back to their country because they feel like even though their country wasn't as, you know, developed as this place, but at least they had that comfort. Guys, you cannot rely in life to stay in your comfort zone. Yes, you have to, as a man, break out of that mold and try to seek for better. And unfortunately, this is the price which you have to pay to deal with some sort of individuals in your job site. There are no two ways about it. This is just the price which you have to pay if you want a better life later on in the future. So guys, finally, to round up this video, I'll say that if nothing else works, you know, if you've tried everything and the situation is really that bad, then I'll advise you to resign from this company. It's not the best solution, and it's certainly not a good look for you to, you know, having resigned from multiple companies here in this country. But guys, sometimes you have to prioritize your mental health, you know, your stability and everything. And if it gets to the point where the abuse gets from verbal to physical, you know, psychological and everything, then guys, pack up your stuff and leave that company. Yes, leave. There are thousands and thousands, you know, innumerable amounts of jobs and opportunities in this country. So don't stay for too long in a place where you have that constant abuse, you know, that daily abuse from the manager or from the supervisor or whatever. Get up, get yourself together and resign from the company. You might take a week or two or a month or a specific time, you know, just to look for another job or whatever. But, you know, in the long run, at least your mind is going to be at peace, guys. Because for some people out there, they have it so bad that it's like they're going crazy, you know, crying every day, just, you know, having to deal with a very, very depressed existence because of the issues which they face in the job site. So guys, that'll be all for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys are doing great. I'll greatly appreciate if you could like this video, you know, drop a comment on your own personal experience, how you handle the situation, you know, the stories which you face in your own situation and how you went about handling them. I would really like to hear from you. Share this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.